Yo, what's going on, PV Nation? This your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And listen, I listen. I've been here, folks talking out their side of the neck. Man, it's coming back. Sometimes when you talk a little bit too much, you listen. Too much bragging to get you in trouble. Too much bragging that get you in trouble. Some of y'all will catch that later. Some of y'all will catch that later. But listen, happy to be back in the building. Listen, we got some exciting things to talk about this evening, man. And listen, I'm gonna go ahead and drop what's going on to all those out there, PV Nation out there. Go ahead and drop it in the comments if you're watching us live. And listen, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this invite in the chat right now, man. So if you are interested in coming on and just sharing your thoughts about all that's going on right now, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this spring time, in this spring season. And so if you're interested in coming on and just sharing your thoughts, then definitely you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and pin that at the top of the video for you guys there. So that way y'all know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can go ahead and jump on live and share your thoughts. But listen, before we get into it, like for real, I just got to remind y'all, just in case you are unaware, just in case you didn't know what time it is, right? Because some of y'all may be a little late to the party. Some of y'all may be a little late to understanding this. Why not PV? Some of y'all don't understand yet PV versus everybody. So just so you guys can understand what we're talking about, I just want to make it clear.
Shake his hand. Oh my god! 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 He's 1 against 7! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Listen, until the SWAC come get us, it's PV versus everybody, right? So we dropped that little, little meme last week, right? Got a little traction online. I think last time I checked, there was over like 40,000, views on that thing. So obviously, got the streets buzzing, which is what the desire is. That's what we want it to be, right? You know what I'm saying? But we're super excited, right? You know what I'm saying? Being able to, stand on all 10 toes and let people know we standing on business this year. So we talking about volleyball, we talking about football, we talking about basketball, we talking about baseball, softball, don't matter. We stand on 10 toes. It's PV versus everybody, man. So super excited about, what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Listen, people got a little in their feelings, you know what I'm saying, about that. But I keep telling y'all, this the writing big checks season. This write big checks season. So I don't know, all that has happened before 2024, like all that is placed in the past. All right. It's all about now. It's all about what the future holds. It's all about why not PV. And listen, across the landscape, all over in all the sports, no matter what you talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? No matter what you talking about, you feel me? It's time to get it in. And listen, you're gonna have to throw down and get with us. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy. You know what I'm saying? G. Listen, G, we got to get you on the show. You know what I'm saying? When we talking about these swag uniforms, man, we got to get you on the show. You know what I'm saying? We're doing this swag uniform breakdown. You feel me? Because right now, there's a lot of people all around bragging. Listen, you can't be bragging. Everybody can't brag like that, because if you brag, sometimes it come back to bite you. But I ain't even gonna get into that right now. We'll talk about that a little later. Yeah, folks swole about that video. Listen, they swole. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We just trying to let people know that if you're trying to get down, we'll get down with you. All right? Listen, we ain't gonna start nothing. But if you start it, we ain't gonna stop it. We ain't gonna, that's all we saying. If you start it, we ain't gonna stop it. All right? We're gonna throw them hands. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So listen, we just trying to let people know. We're trying to get people to warn and let people know what's coming all 2024. Listen, it's different now. It's different. We write big checks. So what's going on, JB? What's going on? Thank you for jumping on, man. But let's get into it, man. Listen, first and foremost, before we get into all that we got for the day, right? Listen, we got some new start. We got some new brewing. Make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, man, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. Go ahead and share this out. Let people know we're jumping on tonight, right? About to talk. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. And if you haven't got your shirt yet, listen. I know my guy on. Listen, we calling out shots. We letting you know ahead of time what it is. So everybody got the warning shot. Everybody knew. We declared war early on. We ain't wait. We wasn't hiding. We didn't come and say it later after it happened. We letting you know months ahead of time what's up, what's about to happen. And so if you getting down with the movement, right? If you believe, if you are going to declare it, then listen, you can go and wear it too. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So listen, why not PV? We already called our shot, not only just 2024 SWAC champs, but we're going to host the SWAC championship in Prairie View, Texas at the stadium. You know what I'm saying? At the stadium. You know what I'm saying? So listen, go ahead and jump on it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get your merch, get your shirt, right? You know what I'm saying? I only got a limited quantity. Make sure you go and get yours, man. So listen, and next thing, hey, I apologize. But listen, we got this big football uniform tournament. I know last week we did the tournament for PV uniforms. We're gonna do the same thing for the SWAC, but we're gonna push it to next week because listen, the day did not go according to plan. It just is what it is. That just is what it is, right? You know what I'm saying? As you see, we starting late. You know what I mean? So we're gonna do this next week. So I need y'all to let me know if you are from even any other school, like what is y'all best uniforms? We're about to have this SWAC football tournament on next week. We're going to determine who got the best uniforms in the SWAC, right? You know what I'm saying? We got all 12 schools, East, West. Who got the best uniforms? Who got them? So we're going to determine that next week. So make sure y'all look out for that. Probably going to do that maybe on like Thursday afternoon, evening. So make sure y'all looking out for that link. You know what I'm saying? To drop. Now let's get into it, man. First and foremost, listen, Coach Lindsay, y'all need to be tipping y'all hat to Coach Lindsay. I don't think I've ever seen so much action in the springtime from volleyball or any volleyball coach ever in my life. All right. Ever in my life. Okay. Not only are they out here active on the recruiting trail, not only are they right getting that spring practice in, but they just scrimmaged, right? Louisiana Lafayette, Louisiana Tech, TCU last week. Then they got their own purpose. See, y'all talking. See, we talking about the spring game is coming up on the 13th for football, but we got a spring game for volleyball on tomorrow. And listen, I heard through the grapevine, I got it from a great source that is also going to be streamed. So if you can't get to PV, don't worry, it's going to be streamed online for you to check it out. And first of all, that's just dope. Listen, the purple and gold scrimmage from the volleyball team. This team has hype just building all around them from what Coach Lindsay has started from this last fall and them finishing second in the SWAC during the regular season, not being able to accomplish their goal of winning the SWAC championship, right? Following in the semifinals of the SWAC tournament. Now it's like she's on a locked mission to say, listen, the goal was not accomplished. And I remember, someone saying, listen, you know what I'm saying? Are you happy with what you was able to do this year? One coach was telling me the conversation he had with her, and she was like, no, absolutely not. We didn't win. That was her comments back to another coach. This ain't even to like an alum. This ain't even to the student athletes, right? This to another coach. Like you can be real. It's like, no, we didn't win. The goal is to win. And so with that mindset, that mentality, man, I expect that this volleyball team not only be competitive, but they're aiming for a SWAC championship and beyond, right? For years to come. And so, man, I'm super excited. If you are in the area, listen, make sure you check out this spring scrimmage, this spring game, purple and gold game for the Lady Panther volleyball team, because they're doing something major. And listen, You got to choose your team. Listen, purple will go. Team purple, team go. Now, listen, I'm going with team go, but team purple got ballers on there. All right, they got some ballers. So, but I'm gonna have to slide and say, listen, I'm going with team go, but team purple does got ballers. And Boom is already letting us know, listen, if the university don't stream it, Boom say he got us. And shouts out to Boom. If you need to all be following Boom's page because he's putting up some awesome stuff, even from the spring football season as well as all the other sports, right? With the coverage that he provides and that he gives. But he has a video from the past spring scrimmage on his YouTube page too, so y'all can go check that out. So that's super dope. Said the stream, it should be through the PV Athletics page. If it's not through PV Athletics, again, Boom is going to say he's going to stream it if they don't stream it. Boom, can you drop your YouTube link in the comments so Curran and everyone else that jumps on can go ahead and get that as well, so that we can be prepared to be able to watch it wherever it's going to be shown at, right? But I think it's super dope. One, that they having a purple and gold game in the spring. Two, just the activity from the volleyball team, Coach Lindsay, Coach Darcy, all of them. And then three, listen, this team is prime and ready to go. They're trying to get in and trying to get after it. So, so Boom, please go ahead and drop the link to your YouTube there, so that way we can all be locked in with that. Next up, listen, golf championships coming up April 15th through the 17th. Men's and women's teams over in Flowood, Mississippi. So shouts out to all, the student athletes on the golf team. Obviously, we saw earlier last fall, them being able to get some lessons from Tiger Woods himself, which is just awesome to be able to meet somebody, just a great, it's like meeting Michael Jordan, right? And you're a basketball player. I mean, that's a great in the game. So super shouts out to the men's and women's golf team for what's coming up super soon for that championship. I'm not sure exactly if SWAC is going to be streaming this or not, right? But if they are, obviously I will let you guys know. And then also, listen, we got SWAC men's and women's tennis championship also coming up next week, April 19th through the 21st. And listen, for me, I'm a semi-pro pickleball player in the making. All right, I'm just declaring that I'm a semi-pro pickleball player in the making. So for me, I get down with some tennis too. I get down with the racket. So Prairie View is actually in the fifth slot in both of the tournaments, both the men's and women's tournaments. FAMU is in the number one slot in the women's bracket. Alabama State has the number one slot in the men's bracket. But as you see, right, you got 6 teams that make the tournament. So we've got in the tournament. Both of us are going to be facing it up against Jackson State in the first round. So, hoping the men's and women's tennis team can put together a good weekend, because, hey, you only need one good weekend to be able to be SWAC champions. And so they have an opportunity because they are in the tournament. So, again, excited for the SWAC being able to have this opportunity for our men's and women's team to have a chance to vie for a SWAC championship. So, and Boom went ahead and dropped that link. So make sure y'all are followed. Go ahead and subscribe to Boom's channel. So when he, streams the volleyball game on tomorrow, y'all will be ready and available for that. Also, he has other great content on there too. So he get some good insights and behind the scenes stuff that he drops all the time. So shouts out to Boom. Also, listen, and I don't have Charles Smith listed on here, but Charles Smith has also had an opportunity to participate in the HBCU All-Star game this past weekend during the men's NCAA tournament. His team was actually able to get the dub too in that game. So shouts out to him for being able to be a part of that awesome event. Obviously, we have HBCU athletes from multiple schools all throughout the SWAC, the MEAC, and elsewhere. So that's awesome to have an opportunity to have these guys, to have that experience, to be there for this weekend. And that event looked awesome. I mean, just the production value around everything. It wasn't just a basketball game. It wasn't just about even those players that they brought to the game. It was about the community of Phoenix and everything they did around it. All the Black and African-American businesses that was involved in the event. It was just super dope to see what they put together. So shouts out to, everybody behind the HBCU All-Star game, because that was very well put together, and it looked like they had an awesome turnout for that game and for that event as well. And listen, shout out to Ryan Payne. She killed it this year, newcomer of the year in the SWAC. She's deserving. She's deserving to have an opportunity to get a look. Obviously, she has that skill set, because this is an individual who was a part of the LSU Lady Tiger basketball team. So she's like that. She's like that. Came down to Prairie View this last year, her only year here. Balled out, and now has had an opportunity to go to the Pro Hoops Invitation, this combine, right? And so, shouts out to her for getting this opportunity. Hopefully, she is able to have a great showing, and get some looks, because there's opportunities that are available not just in the WNBA, in the same way that in the men's game there's opportunities even overseas to play professionally. It's the same with the women's game, and a lot of opportunity for women are even better as far as to pay even overseas. And so, shouts out to Ryan Payne for even just having this opportunity to be able to be in this position, and it because of her hard work, because of what she put in, and because of what she displayed on the court throughout this past year in the fall and the spring. So super happy for her for being able to be out there to represent not only herself but PV Nation as a whole. So, man, shouts out to you for being able to jump on and have an opportunity to go to the HBCU combine. So shouts out to her, man. So, keeping it going, man. Listen, I just want to, I got some news, some sad news, man. And this is something that I don't want to, it's nothing really to, to sniff at or anything, because at the end of the day, we we're all a HBCU family, right? Even, recently this past couple of days, just seeing how all the HBCUs just gathered around when anybody outside of us come for us, right? And so even though we bump heads among each other, we really reach out and look out for one another when it comes to, any other school, other PWIs, either other Black folks who coming for HBCUs, SWAC schools, whatever. And so, I'm happy that we're able to do that and be there for each other. And so, I think right now it's a very important, time. It's, when you got, unfortunately, you have, situations and times where, it's just things are not great for everyone, right? And so people are experiencing, hurt, people are experiencing pain, right? And so we definitely want to be there for those individuals during that time of, hurt and pain. And I think this is one time for us as well, for, one of our fellow, sister institutions. And so, man, I just want to share with you guys so that everybody's aware, this is a live view from Bragg Stadium, you know what I mean? And it's just like the door is open, and it just seems like, listen, it's just a slow death that's going on over here, man. And, I really feel the pain. I feel the hurt. I feel sad for what's going on and what they're experiencing. And, this is a time for us to wrap our hands, around them. You know what I'm saying? This is a time for us to draw near and draw close, and to be a comfort, for them during that time of, that time of grieving. Depression can come during these times. People can be sad. There's a lot of crying, right? Sometimes, and it's not even about the words you share. Sometimes it's just about being there, right? Sometimes it's just really about being there, for people. And so, listen, when you lose those that's closest to you, when you lose those that have done so much for you, I mean, they've done so much for you. I mean, you'll understand, man. Y'all don't understand when you lose someone who was there for you. I mean, you're talking about 40 tackles. You're talking about 12 and a half tackles for loss. You're talking about 8 sacks. I mean, you're talking about somebody who was a first team all-SWAC performer. When you lose somebody so close to you, man, it hurts. It hurts, man. And we need to be there for our fellow SWAC members. We got to be there for them. That's their time. In that time of need, man. Y'all are laughing, man. It's not funny. This is no joke. This ain't a joke, man. Like, people out here dying. Like, programs are out here dying right now. Programs are out here screaming and crying, saying, listen, we want that person. We don't want anybody but that person, right? If we don't get that person, we leaving. And they just not knowing that, man, it's to their own detriment. It's really to their own detriment, but they didn't know, man. We can't come and pile on them now. We can't come and pile on them because of what they did not know and what they did not understand. Like, it's our time to draw near, draw close to them. We gotta draw close to them, man. We gotta be a comfort for them. Y'all laughing like this is a joke. This is not a joke, man. It's not a joking matter. Like, for real, we gotta gather around our brothers and sisters during this time. man, like it's hard when you lose. I mean, when you lose your best defensive lineman and your second best defensive lineman, when you lose one of your best offensive linemen, I mean, when you got DBs just willing to just jump in the portal, and the thing that hurts so much, right? What hurts so much is these people didn't even wait until April 15th. Like they didn't even wait till April 15th. Like you know how painful that is. They didn't even wait till April 15th. Like this is April 1st, April 4th. They say, hey, listen, I'm going to declare on the 15th. Don't even look for me. Like I ain't even gonna be at the spring game. I'm not gonna be there. Like listen, it just hurts, man. It honestly hurts my soul. And I really feel bad for these other institutions. But listen, it's just a slow death. And man, I guess the only thing I can say is, you know what I'm saying, like, why not PV? You know what I'm saying? Why not PV? Listen, I already told y'all what it is. SWAC Championships 2024. We're going to host it in Prairie View, Texas. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear none of that. Listen, handle your business, and we're going to handle ours. But anyway, oh, man. Anyway, with that being said, listen, these guys are bleeding to death right now. I mean, every couple of days, we're seeing boys jump in the portal, and it's not pretty. All right, it's not pretty. I don't know what's going on at FAMU right now. I don't know what's causing these guys to not want to be at FAMU anymore. But something's going on, right? You know what I'm saying? And I understand that they're gonna always be like, hey, listen, it's next man up, and you should definitely be like that. But you're talking about now like 7 players at this point, right? And these are not guys who are just leaving because they couldn't compete, you know. These are guys who are guys. You got multiple guys that are leaving out who are that guy, right, on the team. We're not even talking about guys who are just second, third stringers, right? We're talking about guys who played major minutes. And so whatever's going on, they need to plug this hole, and they need to plug this hole quick, because if not, they're not even getting out the East. I mean, with Alabama State, with Jackson State, listen, Bethune is definitely bringing talent in. There's, it's still, hey, listen, it's debatable. We don't know if they're going to be able to put it together, but they're definitely bringing talent in. And so when you're talking about Florida A&M, there's no guarantee that Florida A&M is going to be that team. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's super interesting just to see, what's been going on. And I don't mean to laugh or be funny, but it is funny. It is kind of hilarious, just to see what's going on and see kind of what's being shared online about the whole situation. But I really feel, like I say, I don't know what's going on there, but obviously whatever the kids thought they were going to get with Cozy, and listen, it doesn't mean that Cozy is a bad coach or anything like that, bad person, etc. But people really underestimated what Willie Simmons meant to this team. They really underestimate what Smitty Rock meant to this team from a defensive coordinator position. And from that standpoint, they've lost, I believe, 5 staff members. That's important. These kids had a connection to these individuals on this staff. And as much as you say, okay, it's next man up, we're going to call up the guy who was in the OC position and actually give him literally the OC role now, we all know he wasn't calling plays. It wasn't his offense. It was Willie Simmons' offense. As much as you can say, well, we got, other guys who recruit, of course, all your coaches recruit, but you lost your recruiting coordinator, right? Who was able to recruit 24/7, doesn't have to worry about game planning at all. And now you're back to being in the same position that other schools are in, which is that you have to both spend time recruiting and you got to spend time doing your other job, right? I believe the running back coach is the one who they upgraded to the coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Position. So, and yeah, that's 5 huge staffers. We're not talking about tight end coach, O-line coach, linebacker coach. No, we're talking about head coach / offensive coordinator, right? Talking about defensive coordinator, and then you're talking about recruiting coordinator. Plus, they lost 2 other guys. I believe the cornerbacks coach got the job at a D2. I think Livingston. I want to say either Bluestone or Livingston, one of those colleges, right? He got the head coaching job there, right? So you also lose that out the room. So you lose 5 huge staffers, and now you've lost at this point 7, and we can say 5 major contributors on the field, and 2 guys who got burned and who got great playing time, right? And listen, I said it when the offensive lineman Cardale got in the portal, immediately I'm saying, listen, because the door opened, obviously. We all know the door opened and people start trickling out. We know that. When the whole situation was going on with them choosing who the coach is going to be, all that stuff, individuals start trickling out. And that's what the whole push for, we want Cozy, etc. And the process took its time, but they got Cozy, and guys kind of stepped back and got back into the program. But once I saw that offensive lineman jump in the portal and say, hey, I'm getting in the portal, I was like, listen, that door is back open, and they better figure out a way how to close it quick. Because if they don't close it, it's just going to continue to leak out major contributors. And that's exactly what's been going on since that time. Since he's declared that he's going to the transfer portal, you've continued to see individuals leak out, right? And again, at this point, it's 7 guys, and this is before the spring game we still talking about. You know what I'm saying? This is still before the spring game that we're talking about right now. We're not talking about after the spring game yet. We're still talking about before the spring game. We're still talking about before the 15th of April. And so there's other guys. The reality right now is there's other guys who are guys, right? Who those dudes who right now are also considering whether they're going to leave or stay. That's the reality. That's the reality, right? And so by the time they figure out how to get this door closed, it may be 12, it may be 13. We have no idea what that number is going to be. Hopefully they can get it shut. This is for them. Hey, listen, I really, in the day, you still going to take an L anyway, in my mind, right? But for your sake, you better figure out how to close the door before it get to 9 and 10 and 11, because, you got 11 on one side, 11 on the other side. And we talking about this guy that came from Florida Atlantic. We don't know what this guy is going to be. We don't know how great he's going to be coming from FAU. We don't know if he's going to be that dude. At the end of the day, the quarterback position is a hard position to fill for a reason. That's what it is. It's a hard position to fill for a reason. So listen, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens into the future with this FAMU, debacle, as FAMU turns, I guess we'll call it, right? Because they're really in a whole lot of trouble. They're in a whole lot of trouble. So with that being said, man, let me pull up this, because I know I want to also share with you guys about the upcoming spring game that we got coming up. Obviously, you guys know that the game is going to be this weekend on the 13th. I don't see my spring game graphic. Anyway, so we got the spring game coming up this week. And listen, what I'm interested to see is this defense. I know the offense is, from a play calling standpoint, is going to be dynamic, right? But first and foremost, the thing that I want to see is this defense. I want to see what kind of improvements we have made just all together as a unit, right? And I understand it's the spring, so I know they're going to be splitting guys up, right? You're going to have a purple team, you're going to have a gold team, right? So you're not, it's is not going to be necessarily right. Hey, first team, second team, right? That's not the format and the way they're going to go about it. But I'm still excited to see, what the defense looks like, whatever that configuration is of guys, ones and twos that are working together on one team and on the other team, kind of how they're able to make sure they're in the right spot, in the right position. Because I think that's one thing that killed us last year is not being in the right position. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being out of position was like the one of the major issues that we had before. So if we could just be at the right place at the right time, I mean, that changes so much, right? And so that's one thing that I can't wait to see, from this weekend. Is just, defensively, man, what do those safeties look like? Obviously, I know we got Bryce Turner coming back. I know we got Kevin Davis coming over from Northwestern State, who was a big pickup. And then listen, we got Traylon James, who was going to be going into his first spring season right next year. Obviously, his second season with the team. What kind of improvements has he made, right? Both in the weight room and on the field. And also you had Cam, who saw a lot of time toward the end of the year last year as well. What is he going to look like? And then also I'm hearing that Stacy Brown may also have some eligibility left, which would be great for us to be able to have him in that lineup, to be able to have him back. That's another veteran presence. So from a safety standpoint, what do those guys look like? And then of course, obviously at corner, who's going to step up and be those? Who's going to be those three guys from the cornerback position? Who's going to step up and be guys who can step up and challenge receivers consistently week in and week out? Because that's what we need. We need guys who are going to really be able to get their hands on receivers, who are going to be very handsy. One thing that I would love that I've seen so far during the practice sessions, right, is we've been a lot more handsy than we were last year. Like last year, we wasn't handsy at all, especially in the early parts of the year. Like you're talking about guys who are manned up, but like literally they're not getting any hands on the receivers, not throwing them off their route at all whatsoever. They're literally manned up and giving them a free release. Even in the zone, letting guys be able to cross their face without touching them at all. And so that's some things that I've seen so far in the spring session that already excite me about the defense and the improvement we're going to see, this fall from the defense is, man, the defense is a lot more handsy than I've seen it before. And I'm hearing that the defense has been, playing really great, so far in the off season. And I know obviously in the spring season, you got a new offensive coordinator, right? New quarterbacks coming in. So it's going to take some time, obviously, for the offense to get up and running to where it's at full capacity. But again, the fact that the defense, that you're hearing this coming out of camp about the defense, I think is super exciting, right? Obviously, from a linebacker position, we got two guys who are coming in now who obviously I think are your day one starters, unless you just see somebody just come in and just completely take that role, right? And Warren Schenkel and Jeremiah Harris, right? Those guys have played big minutes before, and I think now it's their time really to step up, right, and solidify themselves in that linebacker room. And then who's gonna be the next two up behind them, right? Obviously you need depth when you talk about college ball. At the end of the day, you're going to be playing multiple people, at different times sometimes. And so, is Kwame going to be that guy who steps up? Aiden Jones, how is he going to play right? I saw him make a great play, getting some depth right on in a zone, making the quarterback try to throw over him. He was able to get his hands on the ball, and it turned into a pick. I believe one of the DBs, caught that pick off of that tip drill play. And so, hey, that's great, right? Awareness. Those are things that we need to see because we need to be able to plug guys in and for us to have no drop off, right? When you need to get a guy out and give him a breather for one or two plays, we need guys come in and there's no drop off behind those two. And so being able to see that Boom Squad play well is going to be really, really important, right? And obviously on the D line, the number one thing I think for us is, are we going to be able to get consistent pressure, and especially from the edges? I think last year toward the end of the year, we started playing very well in terms of, getting pressure on the quarterback, and being able to get more sacks. I mean, we started off, I want to say the first 5 games of the season, we had 0 sacks, right? Now, toward the end of the season, obviously we played very well, right? And we started to get our hands on the quarterback, start to get more QB pressure. But we need that more consistently, right? Just like we talked about that guy that FAMU just lost, Anthony Dunn, for example, right? A gentle hunt. You talk about consistent pressure from the inside. You're talking about consistent pressure from the edge. That's what we need, right? Big push up the middle. Guys who can able to beat their one-on-ones on the edge. And so I think that's super important. So, we got CJ Presley coming back, obviously. He played well toward the end of the year. He was probably, I would say, he was definitely the most consistent edge rusher that we had last year, right? And so he's going to be big for us. Also, you talk about Jamal Marshall. He played very well in the middle. With Derek Ray as well, who was left. But so Jamal Marshall in the middle, and also Stephen Shaw played well in the time that he was on the field, and he was hurt a lot last year, but he's back this year, right, in the spring. He has a good hop in his step, right? Looked like his legs are under him. And so he's going to be a really, really big and important piece in the middle too as well. And the question is going to be, who's going to be that guy on the outside who steps up? Is that going to be Faro? I know he had, definitely had some good memorable moments throughout the year, especially in that TSU game, right, with the interception. We got Darren Vasquez, right? So we got guys who, I know we have there. I know we just brought Fred Stokes in as well from Central Michigan, who's a big 6'6" guy, big guy off the edge, right? And so who's going to be that guy who can go with Presley on the opposite side? And, are we going to be able to get consistent pressure in the middle from a Shaw, from Jamal Marshall, right? To be able to command having 2 guys, on them, and who's going to be able to come in behind them and also be able to keep that consistent, pressure on teams as far as, passing downs, and also be able to stop the run. So, that's a big thing. I know we brought multiple guys in at the D-line position, and so I'm super excited to see who steps up in that room as well. And then I know we're talking about from offensive side, Curran says he's looking for, the deep ball thrown for sure. And again, if you guys are interested in jumping on, man, and sharing your thoughts, the link should be up and pinned up in the chat up top. So if you guys are looking to jump on, you guys can jump on by just hitting that, and that will bring you into the back, and we can go ahead and pull you up. But when you talk about from the offensive side of things, I think first and foremost, listen, you're coming down with, you got 2 completely new quarterbacks, right? 2 new quarterbacks that are both coming into this system. Obviously, Jaden Jones has been with the team since, I think, this past summer. In the fall, didn't get a chance to play, but he's been with the team. But now, listen, it doesn't matter because you got a complete new OC, new system, right? So you got him, you got Cam, right? I mean, those really the 2 guys right now. Unless they bring somebody else in to compete in that room, those are really the 2 guys who are competing for the number 1 job in that room, right? Cam obviously had great numbers coming out of Kilgore. And so I think he, in my mind, I think he is, slotted in that position right now, just based on previously what he's done. And he has the ability. He has the ability to get the job done. But how quickly can these guys grasp the offense? Because this is an offense where Coach Whedon wants to be fast-paced, right? He wants to be able to snap the ball within 30 seconds on the time clock, right? And so you got to be able to know the playbook. You got to be able to relay the plays, get in the right position, get in the right sets, and you got to get going. And so how quickly these quarterbacks pick that up to be able, to be able to actually display that on the field, and that timing with the receivers as well. And so that's going to be really major. That's really major as far as what's going to be done and where we're going to be, right? Those quarterbacks and that quarterback room is going to be huge, right? So one thing, like Curran said, obviously, I think with this new scheme, we're gonna definitely throw the deep ball, right? But I think also we're gonna see us just simply try to get the ball to the guys in space and try to make the right play and make the right read. How quickly can these guys learn where to go with the ball? Because that is 90%. That's the 90%. If they can know where to go with the ball, know where your eye should go to first, know where your number one read is based on what the defense is showing you. If we can just get that down, oh man, we 90% of the way there, right? You know what I'm saying? And then it's just being able to be accurate with your throws. And so I think Coach Whedon obviously is going to be able to draft, and scheme stuff up based on the strengths of what we got in the receiver room, the running back room, the O-line room, and and the quarterback room. But that's important, right? The next thing is, listen, 5 starters on the offensive line, goodbye, right? They're gone. All right, they're gone. That just is what it is. They're out of there. So there's a huge position battle going on when you talk about the O-line room. Who are those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are going to step up and they're going to say, hey, I'm going to be that guy on the O-line, right? You're talking about, 2 guys who are coming in who played with Cam before, right? Which to me gives them a leg up. Talk about Caleb Leonard, talk about Boone, right? So both of them are coming in, having previously played with Cam, one at left tackle, one at right tackle. So, that gives them a little bit of, to me, a edge because, hey, they know they kind of have played with Cam before. For example, right, again, this is me in my mind saying, okay, Cam is kind of in that lead at that number one spot. So it gives them a little bit more of a leg up, having been able to play with him before and kind of know what he likes to do and what he likes to be, etc., or what kind of pocket is, what the pocket is and where it is for him. But then, even at that center position, right, Pedro Silva versus Mo Miles, who's coming in from Southwest Mississippi Community College, right? That's a battle right there. How is that going to turn out? Pedro, who's been here, right, who's been a part of this team, again, now he's learning a new scheme. And so that's the thing. With throwing a new OC in here, man, you're talking about a lot of nuances now to where, hey, it's like we all starting from the same level. We all starting from scratch. So it kind of removes, those individuals who may have had that leg up simply because, like, hey, man, I understand it. I know I got the playbook down to a T. You know what I'm saying? So those are going to be, man, that's going to be big. That's going to be huge. Which one of these sophomores, right, like Caden Bowers, for example, right, are going to step up and say, hey, man, this is my time. I'm looking to solidify myself in this position because, listen, you got 2 freshmen that's going to come in the summer, in the fall season, and they're both coming in looking to say, I'm not looking to wait until year 2, year 3, sophomore, junior year to start. Both of them are coming in. One of them has championship caliber playing time, right, in Big 6, 5A Texas football for the last 3 years. And so you're talking about guys who are coming in with size, with the weight on them. And so they're going to come in looking to get it in right now. So, who's going to step up on the offensive line? And then obviously the receiver room is just completely stacked, right? The receiver room is just completely stacked. I mean, all the way through. And so who's going to be those guys, right? And again, listen, if you don't understand where you need to be, if you don't understand, like, hey, the route you need to be running at what time, right? This is going to be huge because, you got a lot of guys here who can do it. You got a lot of guys who can move. You got a lot of guys who can catch. But can you be in the right place at the right time? And that's a part of what this season is important and what it's going to show you. And Kerwin says, he said he want to see less zone, more real lockdown. And that's if you got the personnel for it, right? I mean, if we can play some mixture of, zone and we're mixing in great blitz packages, I'm completely fine with that because, from last year, I didn't see that we had, those guys who we say we just put them on the island just completely put them on the island and they're going to be the lockdown guys. So I don't care if we don't go that route. If we're going to go and say, hey, we're going to be a great zone team and a great zone blitzing team, I'm completely fine with that because you got to play to the strengths of your personnel too as well. And I don't know if we have that, right? I think also when you talk about putting guys on island in man coverage, that also the question also is going to be, Do you got guys up front who can get to the quarterback? Because if you got quarterbacks being able to sit back there for 4 and 5 and 6 seconds, then it defeats the purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, you're not gonna be able to cover for that long. So, I mean, and that's some of the best, right? That's a long time to be able to cover, right? And so it really gonna depend on the strength of your team of what kind of defensive scheme you're gonna see. Boom says Johnson has been getting reps. Yes, so I know Jaden's been getting reps. I know Cam's been getting reps as well. And so I mean, listen, there's a battle in the room between those two, and Coach Whedon has made that clear. He's liked to see how they've been able to have that camaraderie, to be able to hold each other accountable, build one another up. But at the same time, it's like they are in a position battle. So, we're really going to see what happens, there in terms of how that's going to go. And the other thing too, man, just switching gears now. And obviously the other thing I would say is there's a battle, right? When you talk about the punt return, kick return room, I think you got a lot of options you could go to on the team as far as who's gonna take over those duties. So I think that's another big battle that's going to be going on both now in the summer and in the early fall too as well. Before we move off of this, I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if I can pull this up. Let me see if I can find this clip for you guys, because it was very interesting listening to what was shared on the Jaguar Journal a little bit earlier. Let me see. I'm trying to see where that was at, right? But I thought this was a very, very interesting, clip, and a very, very interesting take, shared by the Jaguar Journal. Perry was talking to one of the guys that covers Southern football. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys here, and you guys can take a listen to what was shared about what's going on in the Southern program right now. So let me share the screen with you guys.
Aside from that running back and that offensive line,
well, the red flag position is the secondary. Of their top 5 men in the secondary.
All right, let me see.
Well, the red flag position is the secondary. Of their top 5 men in the secondary, there's only one coming back this year. And I was talking to Terrence Graves earlier this week, and I asked him about it, and his eyes lit up. He's like, "Hey, our secondaries, they're good. They have really been a surprise." So this is like the counterfall to the offensive line. This is a place where maybe they're going to be a lot better there than we thought. But he talked about Marcus Bourne and Leroy Bowers and Josh Alexander. And, they got to find another corner to step in for Kristen Davis opposite Rodney Johnson. But Horatio Johnson is a guy, he said, has taken over the leadership of that group. And he's a senior. And
so that was a little bit about, the secondary. But there was one clip I'm looking for. That was not the clip I was looking for. There's another clip I'm looking for where he talks about the offensive line, right? And based on what was shared, he said that right now Southern only has 7, I believe he says 7 scholarship offensive linemen. Here it goes. I found it. Let me share this with you guys so you guys can check this out, because I'm like, man, this is not good. This is no bueno. Let me share this with you guys.
Terrence Graves, and what are you learning about these?
Well, I'll tell you something I learned this week, and it's something that it's going to be a concern. Southern they're not going to play a game. They're going to just do a scrimmage, a blue gold scrimmage for the spring game. So it's going to be more like just a practice. Well, one of the reasons is they don't have enough offensive linemen. I think they've got 5 or 6 scholarship offensive linemen. They're filling in the second team with walk-ons and and other people that, they're going to have to sign some offensive linemen. I think they probably have a pretty good starting five. They've only got 2 guys back that played last year. That's Josh Trask and Cameron Foster. And Foster started 2 games. That's the only 2 games he played in. Now, he's a good player. He's going to be their left tackle. He's a McNeese transfer. And then Trask will probably be the center. But they're rebuilding that offensive line almost from scratch. That's going to be a concern. And then they're going to have to bring in some depth this summer. And it's going to take a while to get them together.
What's going on, everybody?
So, as you see, right, Southern is in a very, 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 very not so nice position. As you see Isaiah say right there, man, listen, they're not even playing an actual spring game. That's how bad the situation is from an offensive line standpoint. They don't have the offensive alignment. So no spring game. Their spring game is going to actually be a scrimmage because they only have 7 on scholarship, and then they're going to fill the rest with just guys who are literally just walk-ons, right? And so that tells you kind of the state of where everything's at, right? You see Terrence Grave, it took so long to even get his, just to get his staff together. You didn't see any movement when you talk about, them on the recruiting trail. So they're in a lot of trouble. And so even now, when you talk about them bringing guys in, they obviously have to bring guys in when you talk about on the offensive line in the summer. But how quickly is that going to be able to get put together? And the reality is, right, they're desperate at this point when you talk about offensive line, support. They're literally desperate. So, I mean, just because they get guys in don't mean that those guys are guys who are gonna be legit in any form or fashion. And they already were not great last year, right? I mean, one of the best games we had from a defensive line standpoint was a game against Southern, right? We definitely beat them up front. So they're gonna be in trouble. Listen, definitely. You know what I'm saying? PV by 40. And yeah, they got to hit the transfer portal to fill those slots. My thing is, though, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean you're going to get quality guys. Like, you have to fill the slots. That's the thing. They're desperate. They have to fill the slots. They have literally no choice but to fill the slots. And then on top of all this, right, your line is in shambles and you don't know who your quarterback is either. So, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. What I know Mark Frederick over there now, at Southern. And so, he loves to run the ball and pound the ball, but he don't got the line for that in the first place. So they in real trouble, right? They're in real trouble. Outside of that, let me see. Also, I watched the Alabama A&M spring game. That gumbo. So they're gonna be in trouble. They're gonna be in trouble. So I got a chance to watch the Alabama A&M spring game. Also, we don't play them this year. Nothing really stood out, too much from their spring game. I do like the other quarterback. I think his name is Avion Smith. I do like him and how he moved the ball and how he got the offense rolling a lot better than Xavier Langford, in my personal opinion. So I have no idea what Maynard's going to do or where he's going from a quarterback standpoint, but I definitely like Avion Smith better. They had one receiver that played well, number 6, I forgot his name, and then Duke Miller is there, right? He got a lot of touches as well and got a lot of chance. So, I think that was a good move for him to go from Jackson to Alabama A&M because, he's probably going to be a featured wide receiver, this year for them. Now, their offensive line seems okay. The offensive line definitely seems okay. It definitely seems that they're going to be a team that wants to pound the ball. Their number 1 running back didn't play in the spring game, but they did have a guy that played number 23 who played very well from a running back standpoint. Their line does kind of look small. I didn't get a chance to go look up what sizes they were, but just from looking at them on screen, they didn't look like they were, too big, but they played well, obviously, against their own, right? You know what I'm saying? And I know that's what they want to do. At the end of the day, Alabama looks like they want to kind of be a little bit more fast paced. They want to keep the ball on the ground, and then they're going to use a lot of short passing game. A lot of screens. That's what it looks like they like to do. So it's going to be interesting, but nothing really stood out to me that tells me that they're going to really be able to kind of really push the envelope against anybody. We'll see though what happens. Alabama State, obviously their game is behind a paywall, so I didn't get to see their game. Our Jackson State game. Obviously heard that Body played well in the game, but I guess the big thing that stood out from Alabama State, from what I heard, was that the defense didn't really have as many standouts as in the past, right? And you got to think, at the end of the day, Alabama State, even though Coach Eddie Robb coaches them up on defense, and I think the defense still will be solid. I don't think they're going to have just a huge drop off from where they were, but I also don't think they're going to be, a top 5 defense like they were last year, right? You can't lose Bubba and 2 of your top defensive, cornerbacks, right? And then, you talking about cornerbacks who are legit trying to have a shot to play at the next level. You use that type of caliber cornerback. You don't just replace that just like that. And so, I think the offense may step up and be a little bit better than obviously what they've been before in the past. But I also think they're probably going to take a step back from a defensive standpoint, which makes sense, right? When you lose a guy who should have been SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, when you lose a big guy on the defensive line who was able to plug the middle, and you lose 2 cornerbacks. That, again, when we talk about just like what FAMU has lost, losing 4 guys on a defense out of 11 is huge. That's big. And so, who steps into those positions and how much drop off is there from those 4 guys leaving, right? And again, you're talking about SWAC caliber defensive player in, Bubba. You talk about another guy who's All-American. When you talk about, from a cornerback standpoint, Victor, right? And then you got another guy on the other side, Maddox, who was great as well. So, and was able to transfer to UAB. So, like, you lost some guys on the defensive end. So, may not be Alabama State. May not, again, doesn't mean that they're not going to be a top SWAC defense. Doesn't that mean they're going to have a good defense? But are they going to be a top 5 defense? I don't think so. So that bodes well for us, right? It bodes well for other teams in the SWAC East as well. And so we'll have to see what's going to happen with them. So those are some of the spring games from this past, weekend. Again, if you have any thoughts or anything you want to share, if you want to jump on, I dropped that StreamYard link. It should also be pinned up at the top as well. If you want to jump on and just share your thoughts. The last thing that I wanted to, not the exact last thing, but I did want to get to baseball and softball. But also, I saw something interesting, man, that I thought was super dope. I know last week we were able to do the rankings for, for our uniforms. I thought it was super cool, right? Seeing it was a FCS poll that was up, on the top stadiums, right? The top SWAC stadiums, and I thought that was super cool. I don't know if you guys were able to see that or able to get a chance to look at that. But I thought that was really interesting and really dope concept, that somebody was able to come up with and start. I know that, now they just did the first round, and even in the top, I think the top 8, right? You have 3 SWAC schools, right? Which they had us ranked number 8. Alabama State was ranked 4th, and I think Jackson was ranked like 5th or 6th, which, that was crazy. Because I can understand if maybe you got Alabama State ranked ahead of us, but not Jackson. I don't understand how Jackson is ranked ahead of us. But I think that obviously people just haven't seen our stadium. So that's kind of the reason, right? You know what I mean? So they kind of are ranking us lower than what we should be based on the fact that they actually themselves literally haven't seen it yet. So I know they've got through the first round now. So I think now it's going to the second round. I believe in the second round, it has us going up against, looks like the Citadel Stadium. So Citadel Stadium, we're going up against them in the second round. So I thought it's super cool, though, super interesting and dope that, somebody has something like this going on. So make sure y'all check that out. I think it's by College Football Campus Tour. So College Football Campus Tour, CFB Campus Tour is the one that's doing the poll. So, you guys can definitely, check that out. I think they're going to start round 2, starting tomorrow. You say seating capacity. Yeah, they definitely got a, I know Jackson got a better seating capacity, but, and I guess that's the question, right? What do you judge the stadiums on? That's the question. Because one thing that I had to start doing was like not paying attention to the crowd, because I looked at the crowd. Now I was like, man, I don't want the crowd to sway me, because for me, I'm like, it should just be about the stadium itself. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the atmosphere per se, because then that's going to change your mind, your thought process. If you're looking at it based on, the individuals in the crowd versus just looking at it from a standpoint of, the literal stadium, right? But here it is right here, right? FBS College Tour. So if you can see, right, they got us ranked right here, number 8 over here. And so they just came out with the other one because I believe they have the updated one now after all the teams, after they did the votes from yesterday. And so this next one is going to be us up against the Citadel. So Panther Stadium versus Johnson Haygood Stadium of the Citadel, right? And so the Citadel Stadium, that stadium actually was a smaller stadium. I actually think that, my vote on that was actually for UC Davis's stadium, not even for the Citadel Stadium, because I just like the layout of UC Davis, I think, a little bit better, because I think it had more like a bowl shaped. But anyway, I think that was super cool, man, of, kind of them putting that together, and people being able to vote, on those things. So, but other than that, man, listen, we got baseball and softball, man, who just come through and had a interesting week. Baseball, obviously, as if you didn't know, if you didn't see, right? It says Citadel Stadium's going through renovations. Okay. So that's cool. Do you know, are they like expanding the capacity of the stadium? What are they doing with the renovations on that stadium? Is it just like seating capacity? Or are they upgrading, like, the locker rooms? Like, did you see or find out like what actually they're doing in the stadium? Because that would be dope to see and to know as well. But I also thought it was interesting because Abilene Stadium beat out McNeese, which I thought was kind of like an upset almost, because I really like McNeese Stadium, actually, in my personal opinion. Oh, here we go. I was looking for the Citadel Stadium. So let me pull up Citadel Stadium for you guys so y'all can see this, so y'all can know what y'all are up against. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Boom said like they redoing the video. I mean, from the pics and video, they were redoing the stands. Gotcha. So you guys can see this here. This is the Citadel Stadium. So it's only one side, I believe. Let me see. They only got 2 pictures on here, but I believe. Oh yeah, so they do have the small stands on the opposite side, right? So I think one thing that I did like, right, was this front facing. You know what I'm saying? I like this front elevation on this stadium. A lot of the other stadiums that I saw didn't have no elevation at all, right? You know what I'm saying? So this I really like this exterior on the stadium itself. I believe it said that what's the capacity? Yeah, their capacity was 11,427, right? So it's not a huge stadium. It kind of looks, I feel like it looks bigger than what it is from the picture, just from the angle, right? But it's only 11,000, seat stadium. So it obviously isn't as large as the pictures is making it out to be, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you can tell it's definitely an older stadium, you know what I'm saying? You can definitely tell it's rusting out. I also saw the lights they got up here too. You know what I'm saying? Looks like it got some, it don't have any special lighting or anything for the field. And personally, I don't like stadiums that only have seats on one side. And even though we got this little small bleachers over here, I mean, it's basically a one-side stadium. Like I'm not a fan of that. But they did beat out UC Davis. You know what I'm saying? They beat out UC Davis Stadium. But I liked UC Davis's layout, because it was like in a bowl, as you can see, right? So 2 sides, but in a bowl, kind of got the grassy areas on both sides where like students could sit out and stuff like that. Obviously, it got over on the home side, right? You see at the top, the blue It has those specialty like premium seats and stuff as well. So I kind of like UC Davis Stadium better, but obviously I was on my own apparently. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't get it. Let's see. Then it says, okay. So yeah, man. So that was interesting. But back to it real quick. Listen, the baseball team had 3 games this past weekend against Grambling. Obviously, they also played Louisiana Lafayette yesterday. Didn't go according to plan, man. Listen, big loss from the Panthers on this game, 19-3, and it just really got out of hand early, and they just really couldn't reel it back in. And this team definitely fights. This team has the ability to put runs on the board, but I think the Achilles heel at the end of the day right now is just from a pitching standpoint, the pitching side of things, right? Being able to find consistent guys, and it's gonna be hard, right? When you talk about baseball, it's really hard on this level because a lot of guys in baseball have the ability to go pro a lot earlier. Some guys may not even go back, go to college. Some guys may go straight to minor leagues, what I'm saying, single A, double A, triple A, right? So it's a lot harder for talent to trickle down. It's not like in basketball where, you have such, 15, players on the team, you got a lot of talent across the country. And so that talent is going to trickle down into the mid-major ranks. You talk about baseball, it's not the same because you not only do you have top programs getting a lot of these guys, but then outside of that, you also talk about, guys just crossing over and going next level and playing majors, right? So it's a lot harder. But I think what we do see is that you see from a standpoint of, being able to put the bat on the ball, we're seeing that even as we've seen, right? We saw Southern being able to beat LSU. We saw Alabama State knock off Auburn, right? Just on yesterday, right? So you're seeing that SWAC schools has the ability to stay in games when you talk about from a standpoint of on the batting side of things, right? We're able to produce and put up runs a lot better even in our league, even when we go against some of these teams or some of these squads. But it's really, at the end of the day, the difference is the pitching, right? It's almost like you say, man, listen, our wideouts, our running backs, I mean, they, we can put them, we feel head to head against, specialists from another team. But you talk about quarterback, right? You talk about trench play, offensive line, defensive line, man, there's just going to be a difference. I think that's the difference when you talk about pitching. There's a big difference when you talk about pitching on this level. And so that's one of our issues, you know what I'm saying? That's one of our issues is, just being able to have consistent, good pitching, that we can turn to. Boom says, man, the game was going on, wait until the 5th inning. So yeah, man, it went downhill. So second game, obviously, of this series, a 14-12 loss. This game, we were able to, stay in it until, close to the end of the game, but obviously not able to pull it out. And then obviously the game on Sunday, we was able to bounce back, right, and get that 9-5 win. So I'm happy that we're able to get back in the winning column because I believe before this, I mean, now I think that makes, you talk about losing 5 in a row before this. So I believe it was up to 7. I believe it was 7 in a row, right, that we lost and before getting this win. So this is a big win just from the fact that, listen, we just need to get in the win column, right? So you talk about, 2 and, 8 over the last 10 games. It's not great, right? You know what I'm saying? So we definitely needed to get a win, and so happy to be able to get this win on Sunday against Grambling. And so now we still got, the last half of this season coming up. And so it's still a chance for us to be able to go out. We're going to have, Southern come here. We still got Texas Southern again, right? We still got a UAPB, right? And then we go to Graham. So we still got a chance to, get back into the heart of the SWAC and the SWAC standings. And at the end of the day, listen, the thing I like about college baseball is you always got a shot. You always got a shot in college baseball, right? And so this team is definitely still a team that's willing to fight. And so I'm excited to continue to watch and see where they go and see if we can bounce back, right? We start off on a high. We're now in the valley of the season. Can we get out this valley, and how quick can we get out of it? Because if we can get out this valley and start some upward momentum, we may be able to start and hit our stride at the right time, going to the SWAC championship game. So talk about the softball team. Man, first loss of the season against Grambling was hard, man. Listen, that walk-off in the bottom of the seventh from Grambling to win the game 5-4. So, hey, the girls fought hard, but I know that, being able to face adversity is big for a team that has, astronomical goals of being able to win a third SWAC championship in a row. And so, obviously, they were 11-1 at this point. So, even dropping this one game, it's like, okay, we're still in a great position. I mean, we're still in a position to lock up the West, still in a position to be the number one seed in the tournament. So we're still in a great position. So, taking that loss, but then being able to bounce back and win 2 games the next day, 5-0 in one game, 8-4 in the next game. So this team is fighting. This team is building. This team is ready to bounce back. As Coach Lane said when he came on, they're learning, learning how to kind of move in a direction that they want them to go, especially when you're talking about from a standpoint of on a batting side of things. And so again, right, we got number 1, number 2, number 3. When you talk about, Massey, you talk about, Raina, right? And you talk about I forgot the other name, slipped my mind, right? But you got just 3 starting pitchers. So, you're good on the pitching standpoint of things. And now it's just obviously continuing that momentum, continue to be able to produce runs. And one thing I told Coach Lane when he was on last week was, the thing I love is no matter 1 through 9 on your lineup, you're always able to have people to make the right plays at the right time, right? Whether that's, sacrificing to move someone over, whether that's, just getting the ball out to deep to outfield so we can advance a runner, right? Whether that's, taking a chance and getting stolen bases at the right time. You talk about that game in Grambling. We came back and tied that game up at the top of the 7th, even though we lost that game. But, right before that, right, we was able to move a runner and get them over before, right, we got a base hit, right, which brought that runner in. And so, just being able to manufacture runs, I think is super important, especially when you get into the heart and the heat of tournament time, right? So obviously we want the SWAC regular season title, which really, I believe it's like I think they got 12 games to go, right? So they probably need 6 or 7 of those 12 to clinch it. So don't even need to win a major amount of the last games, right? And that's what other teams not losing at all. But I know they want more than that, right? They don't just want to settle for that, and they don't want to just settle for a SWAC regular season title, because the goal this year is to go to regionals and take a game in regionals, right? So definitely happy. Yeah, we got championship coaches, man, and so happy to see that they continue to build. Softball is hosting 3 games this weekend. Yes. And speaking of DH, man, listen, it was exciting to see, Kaylin Massey step in, man, and get hit that big home run, right? On that game on this past weekend, and also with that big base hit, so we got pitchers that can hit too. She can't just throw that thing; she can hit too. You know what I'm saying? So super excited for them and what they're doing. But hey, last but not least, man, I just wanted to talk a little bit and just talk about we talk about the spring game that's coming up this weekend. I saw this from GMC. I don't know who behind this. I don't know who made this up. I don't know who produced it. But shouts out to you. Shouts out to whoever is a part of putting this together, because this is what I'm talking about. This is something exciting. This is something that I believe students will be willing to get behind, willing to show up, right, at this spring game this weekend, right, and be able to, have a chance. This is how you interact with your fans, right? Interact with your students. So you're saying, hey, listen, you got to be at the game in order to win. You got to be there to win and to get whatever we're given. But also, like, just the fact that you're doing this kind of like giveaway to individuals, it just gets them involved, right? And I think we just need to continue to think of more creative ways to get the community, get the alumni, to get the students involved, right? So I'm also happy that they changed the fact that this ain't gonna be $10 to get in the game and $20 for parking. That was just crazy in the first place. But whoever was behind changing that, shouts out to you. You're the real MVP. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, you want to continue to build momentum. We're building momentum right now. We're building momentum. Just continue to let the momentum build, continue to let the momentum build till we get to that place, until we get to that point, right? And then listen, the alumni game, obviously, if you guys didn't see, is going to be at 11 o'clock. So there's a lot of different events and stuff that's going on throughout this week in general. And so, just excited to just think about all that's going on and all that's being put together. Obviously, you got the softball games too as well. That's going to be on this weekend against, I believe, I think we host Southern this weekend, if I'm correct. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But so we got games this weekend, softball. So it's like just a full day activities, man. So definitely just show up, pop out, right? You know what I'm saying? Check out what we got going on. I believe the game's gonna be streamed too as well. So again, if you can't make it out, just like for the volleyball game tomorrow, they're gonna be streaming it. I'm told that they're gonna stream that game. If they don't, Boom say he's gonna stream it for us. So either way it go, we're gonna be able to check out the volleyball game. And obviously I believe as well that the football game is going to be streamed as well. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all, man, if you can show up. If you can't, man, show love by just watching, right, and sharing in the excitement, because that's what we got. We got some excitement. We got some movement. Let's just keep the movement going, man. And so again, I remind y'all in saying that too, that listen, we do got the shirts. Like, listen, why not PV? All right, why not PV? If you want to join the movement, look, make sure you go ahead and get and cop your shirt, man. You know what I'm saying? So for y'all who maybe don't have that link yet, let me drop that link in the chat for you guys. If you have yet to purchase your shirt and declare and proclaim, right, what's about to happen, what we're about to do to the swag, because I want to remind y'all, right? You know what I'm saying? I want to remind y'all what it is. Listen, it's PV versus everybody, right? You know what I'm saying? It's PV versus everybody. So, you know what I'm saying? What we're trying to do is, you know what I'm saying, we're trying to get it in. And so if individuals are, if individuals are trying to get it, you know what I'm saying, we'll get it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to get in. I don't know why my video not playing though. Like, why my video not playing? My video's tripping. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my video. Anyway, y'all know what it is. Y'all saw the video. So it's PV versus everybody, right? So until next time, man, y'all know what to do. And before I go, I do want to share, something interesting with you guys that, we're working on right now, just behind the scenes. Because one thing that we saw is that, man, we don't have our own like video of just the university and the facilities, right? And all the stuff we got, and so one thing we've been trying to do, right, is put some stuff together, right? Get some stuff together so that we can actually give y'all kind of a glimpse of, what's behind the scene, right? What we have available that people just don't get a chance to see. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to come out here so you guys can, I'm just kind of giving y'all a glimpse into what we putting together. It ain't complete yet. Right, we just getting our stuff together, right? Getting our clips, but we got something major because we want to put together a video just kind of showing a little bit more of our facilities, a little bit more of Panther Stadium, the athletic facility, right? So that listen, we even have this so that we can share to others who have never seen. Because a lot of times you have conversations about, and people have conversations about, even like we talk about now, the best stadiums, all this stuff. The reality is a lot of people ain't been there. They ain't been to a game. They ain't been to these things. And so it would be nice if we had something that we can just say, hey, man, just go check this out. And they can get a chance to see a little bit better, not just from a picture, but also from a video standpoint of what we have available. Because, a picture's worth 1,000 words. But if a picture worth 1,000 words, then, how much would a video be worth, right? You know what I'm saying? If we have video as well, you know what I'm saying? So, we don't want to just we don't want to just have the pictures, but we want to have the video as well. You know what I'm saying? Giving us a chance to see, even like, hey, what do we got available for season ticket holders? What do we got available for those who are going to be in section, 107, who are going to be in section, 108 and 106, right? So, we want to take a little time and do something special and do something particular for that. So again, I'm just giving y'all a peek so y'all know, like, listen, we doing some stuff behind the scenes. You know, we getting some stuff in. We're not just sitting and doing nothing here, right? You know what I'm saying? At PV versus everybody, right? We trying to get some clips, get some shots together, right? So even you, when you go out, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and get some clips, some shots, man. Share that stuff online so that people can see what we have and what we have access to. Because the issue is that people just don't see and they just don't know. So until next time, man, again, we appreciate all y'all for coming on, for jumping on. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you invite PV Nation on, because we're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We got something special also dropping at that time when we do that. So until next time, man, I'll talk to y'all later. Remember, PV versus everybody. See y'all later.